Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hamdan wa syukran lillah amma ba'du. The Excellency Dr. Sriwayuni as our advanced assessment in ELT course. Respectable all of my TPE friends, rahimakumullah. Thank you very much for the chance that has been given to me. So let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Nuril Huda, and I would like to present the ninth topic discussing about issues on national examination and minimum competency assessment, or AKM. Ladies and gentlemen, minimum competence assessment, or AKM, as the background. The first, the laws concerning state evaluation in the context of the controlling the quality of education. Furthermore, the law states that evaluations are carried out by the independent institution on a regular, comprehensive, transparent, and systematic basis to assess the achievement of national education standard. The second, education in the 21st century must ensure that the students have developed the skills through critical thinking and problem-solving skill, communication skill, creativity and innovation skill, and collaboration skill. The third one, the character development and strengthening. Then the literacy activities are an important element in the progress of a country in the era of globalization. Therefore, to improve the quality of life, the Ministry of Education and Culture since 2016 has organized various literacy activities through the national literacy movements as part of the implementation of regulation. The second chapter, the difference of UN, or state examination, and AKM, or minimum competence assessment. The national assessment does not replace the role of the national examination in evaluating individual student achievement or learning outcomes. However, the national assessment replaces the role of national examination as a source of information to map and evaluate the quality of education system. As a tool to evaluate the quality of the system, the national assessment will produce a more complete portrait of the quality of learning outcomes and the learning process in schools. The report of the results of the national assessment will be designed to serve as a useful mirror or feedback for schools and the education office in the process of self-evaluation and program planning. The national assessment aims not only to photograph students' cognitive learning outcomes, but also to photograph social and emotional learning outcomes. The national assessment measures basic competencies or general capabilities that can be widely applied in all situations. Then, the national assessment focuses on measuring students' ability to use and evaluate the knowledge gained from various curriculum materials to formulate and solve the problems. Or, in a simple way, you can see or pay attention to the chart or table below. Chapter 3, the minimum competence assessment, or AKM definition. In this case, I ask apologies to you all because I cannot find the English form. I found only the Indonesian or Bahasa, so I put on the PowerPoint this one, the chapter, but let me explain to you in English. The national assessment is a program to assess the quality of each school, institution, and a quality program at the primary and secondary levels. The quality of the education unit is assessed based on the basic students' learning outcomes, in this case literacy, numeracy, and also the characters, as well as the quality of the teaching and learning process and the climate of the education unit that supports learning. The information was obtained from the three main instruments, namely the Minimum Competency Assessment, or AKM, the Character Survey, and the Learning Environment Survey. Assessment of reading and numeracy literacy in AKM can be reviewed of three components aspects, namely content, cognitive processes, and also context. Chapter 4, the instruments of AKM. The national assessment consists of three instruments, namely Minimum Competency Assessment (AKM), which measures students' reading literacy and mathematical literacy or numeracy. Second, Character Survey, which measures attitude, values, beliefs, habits that reflects the character of the students. The last, Learning Environment Survey, which measures the quality of various aspects of the input and teaching and learning process in the classroom and at the school level. The next, we will have the forms of the AKM. The first form is the multiple choice. Students are asked to answer the questions by choosing one correct answer from the several answer choices provided. We have found it in our daily test, usually in the last examination or maybe the daily test for the students. The second one, complex multiple choice. Complex multiple choice questions consist of the subject matter and several statements that students must choose by putting a check mark in the box provided in front of each statement that is considered appropriate to the problem in the subject matter, or in this case it's like yes no column or true and false or another suitable option. The third form is matchmaking. The form of matching question measures the test taker's ability to match, adjust, and connect the two statements provided. The fourth, fill-in or short answer. Fill-in question or short answer are questions that require test takers to provide short answers in the form of words, phrases, numbers, or symbols. The last, essay or description. Explanation questions are questions whose answer require the students to remember and organize ideas by expressing these ideas in the form of written description. Happy brothers and sisters, we come to the 5th chapter. It is Literacy Minimum Competency Assessment AKM Development. The definition of literacy. Reading literacy is the ability to understand, use, evaluate, reflect on written text forms that are needed by society and valued by individuals. Readers can construct meaning from text in various forms. They read to develop their knowledge and potential to practice in society as citizens of our country or of the world. The content. The first one is literary text. Literary texts or narrative fiction are imaginative works that raises issues of human life that have been combined with the imagination or subjectivity of the author for entertainment purposes. The second one, information text. Information text or non-fiction, of course, it is the text that is written based on the factual data, events, and something else that really exists and happens in life. The third one, text content. Text context. The first is personal context. It is text or reading that contains events, settings, actions, characters, atmosphere, feelings, ideas, and insights that are personal or individual. Socio-cultural context. It is reading that reflects people's views regarding socio-cultural conditions, for example, regarding information on the cultural conditions of the society or a nation. The third, scientific context. It can improve the ability to understand scientific knowledge skills by identifying questions, gaining new knowledge, explaining scientific phenomena, and drawing conclusions based on facts, understanding, and characteristics of science. The fourth, it is about the cognitive level. The first one is to find information or access and retrieve. In everyday life, it is not uncommon for someone to be asked to find information. At this cognitive level, the competencies that are expected to be achieved by students are finding, identifying, and describing an idea or explicit information in the text. The second is understanding. At this cognitive level, the reader is expected to be able to process what has been read so that an understanding emerges from the text or it is interpreted and integrated. The last, evaluate and reflect. At this cognitive level, readers have been able to use knowledge, ideas, attitudes that are outside the text to make judgment about the text or make reflections on it. This stage is the highest stage of the reading process. We come to the sixth chapter. It is Numeracy Minimum Competence Assessment AKM Development. Numeration is the ability to think using concepts, procedures, facts, and mathematical tools to solve everyday problems in various types of contexts that are relevant to individuals as citizens of our country or in the world. Numeration is defined as the ability processed by a person in using his mathematical knowledge in explaining events, solving problems, or making decisions in everyday life. For the text context, it is almost same with the literacy. We have personal, social, cultural, and scientific. But let me give a little bit difference between the numeracy and also the literacy. On personal may include matters relating to food preparation, shopping, games, personal health, personal transportation, sport, travel, personal scheduling, and personal finance. All of them, or the topics, are relating to the numbers or numeracy. The second one is socio-cultural. This context may include, among others, to voting system, public transportation, government, public policy, demography, advertising, statistics, and also the national economic. The last, scientific. Problems classified in this context relate to the application of mathematics in the universe and issues and topics related to science and technology. This context can include, among others, weather or climate, ecology, medical science, space science, kinetics, measurements, and mathematics itself. For the cognitive level, we have understanding, applying, and also reasoning. Understanding problems in this cognitive level assess the ability of the student's knowledge of facts, processes, concepts, and also procedures. Keywords commonly used at this level include remembering, identifying, classifying, calculating, taking or obtaining, and measuring. The second, applying or implementation. Problems at this cognitive level assess mathematical abilities in applying knowledge and understanding of facts, relations, processes, concepts, procedures, and methods in this context of real situation to solve the problems or answer questions. The third one is reasoning. Problem at this cognitive level assess students' reasoning abilities in analyzing data and information, making conclusions, and expanding their understanding in new situations, including previously unknown situations or more complex contexts. Ladies and gentlemen, now we come for the example, and you can observe by yourself the example of AKM or Minimum Competence Assessment. The first is multiple choice. Yeah, we have it on our daily test or for our students at school usually. Here we go for the second example for the multiple choice too. I'm sure that some of you have familiar with this question because we have made it commonly in our test for our students actually. The second one, complex multiple choice. This one I think it is rather new for you, or you have a little bit understanding about this example. For example, how does the coronavirus infect many people rapidly and out of the control? Because in this case you may choose some answers because we have some statements that relate to the coronavirus, and as we know, as the key answer it is number 1, 4, and 5. The next, complex multiple choice still. It is a kind of true and false. We have it in our usually students project or students task at school. True and false, stating the statement it is true or false. This one is matching. It is almost same with the vocabulary question when we have the vocabulary question or the word and we have to find the meaning of the words. So thank you for your attention, and may Allah always bless you all.